Tonight on NAIT NewsWatch.
The province is considering post-secondary funding cuts, and it may impact the cost of tuition.
It makes it harder for kids from lower income families to get an education.
Premier Jim Prentice talks about the direction of Alberta.
Initially, a more coordinated approach to public sector bargaining. And the second is a review of essential services legislation.
And Edmonton Police mark March as Fraud Prevention Month.
Overall, fraud is on the rise in Edmonton. The EPS Economic Crime Section reviewed over 3,000 frauds in 2014.
NewsWatch starts now.
Good evening. The tuition cap may be lifted for students at post-secondary schools.
This on top of hints of a 9% reduction for education funding from the provincial government. Elizabeth Buchan joins us live from our news center tonight with more on the potential impact.
Thanks, Bernard and Lisa. With declining oil prices, the government has indicated that sweeping cuts are inevitable. Education being one of the areas students are fearful that these could affect them directly while paying for college or university. Brendan Morin is an NAIT student who went to live on his own while studying and working full-time. Right now, he says he's financially stretched to the limit.
For my first 2 diplomas, I lived on my own, and I maintained what bordered on being a full-time job while I was doing that.
Alberta currently has the lowest rate of high school students transferring to post-secondary, with 17% moving to 24%. Naturally, the Alberta opposition is concerned that could drop further with the lifting of a tuition cap.
There's a real pressure on the institutions to try and get as big a tuition increase as they possibly can to replace the money that the government has not given them or is likely to cut back from the next budget as well.
With impending cuts looming, NAIT student officials believe that students need an initiative rather than an obstacle to pursue their studies.
Mostly students or those who are getting laid off from jobs and everything, they're going to be coming back to school to get the training again and get back on track so they're educated and then they can go back to the work field.
NAIT Student Association president mentions that by removing this cap will limit the accessibility for people to come to NAIT. Students around the campus voice their opinion on how these could affect them.
Could be potentially threatening to the ability for students to go to school.
Probably take the bus instead of drive to school and stuff like that, right?
For Brandon, even with a student loan, he's moved back home to budget for now and perhaps later.
Of course I'm going to be affected because I have to still pay my future tuition costs, right?
The elimination of a tuition cap could also bring in more applications for student loans.
What's the average cost of tuition across Alberta?
From 2014 until this year, it's sitting about $5,700.
How does NAIT compare to other post-secondary institutions?
NAIT's average is about $3,600 to $3,800, and we are one of the lowest in Alberta.
Thanks, Elizabeth. That's Elizabeth Buchan reporting live from our news center tonight. The provincial government will release its budget on March 26th. With the drop in oil prices resulting in a $7 billion budget deficit, Premier Jim Prentice is looking to minimize costs in the public sector. Deputy Minister Tim Grant, along with a working group, are talking with public sector employers in the province to modernize labor negotiations. The government hopes to find a long-term solution to bargaining that is fair and consistent.
This is about arriving at modern essential service legislation in a way that's consultative and is defensible.
Gil McGowan, head of the Alberta Federation of Labour Coalition, says the Alberta government should look to cover the deficit elsewhere.
The solution is not to blame the victim. The solution is not to demonize public sector workers who provide these important services. The real solution is to fix the holes that the government created.
The working group will review for 4 months before presenting to the Premier. NAIT NewsWatch, the next generation of news.
10 years ago, 4 RCMP officers were gunned down and killed. Mayerthorpe residents came together to honor the fallen 4. On Tuesday, many residents from Mayerthorpe gathered at the Fallen 4 Memorial Park to remember RCMP officer Peter Sheeman, Anthony Gordon, Leo Johnston, and Brock Myro.
I would whisper love so loudly, every heart could understand.
In the first year of the candlelight service, they invited a local grade 1 class to perform the song Love Can Build a Bridge in sign language. This year, to mark the 10th anniversary, they invited the same students back, which they are now in grade 11, to perform with the current grade 1 class.
Edmonton police say fraud crimes in the city are going up and people are being targeted. In 2014, the EPS reported over 3,000 cases of fraud. The police are educating the public that fraud is everywhere, and according to a survey done by the Chartered Professional Accountants of Canada, job financial fraud is one of the most frequent online frauds this year. With students graduating in spring, they should take preventative measures while looking for a job.
Job opportunity sites that you maybe not have heard of before, and make sure that you cross-reference that with others who've gotten jobs.
For more information on fraud prevention, you can visit eps.ca.
This year's Alberta cheerleading competition will consist of fewer teams because of security concerns. More than 20 teams have pulled out from the competition because of the terror threats made to West Edmonton Mall after a video was posted by the Somali-based terrorist group Al-Shabaab. The mall has confirmed that extra security measures will be in place during the competition.
We do have an emergency action plan, and that would be standard for any competition that we host.
For more information about the competition, you can visit albertacheerleading.ca.
A graphic anti-abortion display caused controversy at the University of Alberta.
Safe space! Now! Safe space! Now!
The U of A, in supporting freedom of speech, approved a graphic anti-abortion display on campus that sparked outrage among many students.
There's such a graphic display in a public area, so people don't get a choice about whether or not they get to engage with these images. If they were in a classroom or in an enclosed tent, people could make the choice about whether or not they want to be engaging with this type of material.
Even though the posters depict detailed abortion images, the Go Life students group claims the right of freely exchanging ideas within a public setting, namely its own campus.
The purpose of public spaces, especially university, is to allow for the free exchange of ideas, particularly controversial ones. And so all we're asking is to be able to use university the way it's meant to be used.
On Wednesday at 4 p.m., after 14 hours of display, the images were taken down.
Edmonton and Camrose have paired to deliver pediatric care across the province. Patients like Eliza Manchester from Drayton Valley have benefited from the telehealth video conferencing that Glenrose Rehabilitation Hospital and Camrose Pediatric Specialty Clinic started using in November. The conferencing provides the Camrose facility with a developmental pediatrician without costly travel.
See patients in both locations on the same day. And before, when I had to go to Camrose physically, that couldn't happen.
With the new technology, doctors are able to see and assess patients faster and diagnose what kind of care they need.
The University of Alberta Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry is offering a new program for radiation therapy students.
Absorbing the radiation and creating a window for the radiation.
With an increase in population in Alberta, it is estimated that 1 in 2 Albertans will experience cancer in their lifetime and will need a radiation therapist. The program currently has 5 students with the potential to increase to the maximum capacity of 25. Stanley Wu tells us what it is like being a radiation therapist.
We have to see the cancer patient every single day for their whole treatment, for their entire journey. So I'll be seeing the same person and I'll be getting pretty attached, I guess. And I really like the idea of that because...
For more information on the program, you can visit med.ualberta.ca.
This week marked NAIT's first annual Pride Week, celebrating the diverse community within the school.
2, 3, NAIT Pride!
NAIT, along with the Gay Straight Alliance Students Club and Safe Spaces, held several events to show support for the LGBTQ community. NAIT President Dr. Glenn Feltham led a Pride Walk with NAIT students and staff across the campus. Kristen Flaff, one of Pride Week's organizers, is excited about NAIT's reaction.
Pride Week, and it's been an amazing success so far. Everyone's been really enthusiastic, really supportive, and really interested in participating.
Safe Spaces is an initiative to create a comfortable environment for the LGBTQ community and GSAs in schools. Coming up after the break, we look at some fun ways to get outside and enjoy the winter.
We see the different activities offered throughout the city to make the winter more enjoyable.
Who knew you could do it?
Hi, I'm Kevin Moore. Coming up in sports, I got Oops men's volleyball playoff highlights, the Edmonton Rush take on the Toronto Rock in lacrosse action, and I am here at the Commonwealth Rec Centre for the FC Edmonton season preview.
I'm Jenna Hamilton. The weather has finally warmed up and we're seeing temperatures well above average for this time of year. But I wouldn't get your bathing suits out just yet. I'll have more details for you coming up after the break.
Well, Bernard, it's nice to finally be seeing some good weather.
It looks like I can dust off my barbecue this weekend. Jenna Hamilton has more on your weather forecast.
Thanks, guys. The weekend we have seen so far has been beautiful, but we are expecting temperatures to drop later next week. Calgary is one of the lucky ones. They're seeing a high of +8 and a low of -8, but with lots of sun. And if you're in the mountains this weekend, you're in luck. You have perfect skiing weather. Jasper's looking at a high of +3 with lots of sun as well. And Fort McMurray has finally warmed up. They're sitting at a high of +1 with a 30% chance of flurries and a few clouds, but it's still wonderful weather compared to earlier this week. And here in Edmonton, we're sitting at a high of +7. We are partly cloudy and do have a slight chance of flurries, but I still think it's wonderful weather to get out and enjoy your weekend. We are sitting nowhere near the records. I'm sure the +15 would be nice, but we could do without the -34. We also are sitting well above our averages for this time of year, a high of -1 and a low of -12. Tomorrow morning is daylight saving, so make sure you set your clocks ahead 1 hour. I'm Jenna Hamilton, and that's been your look at weather.
NewsWatch Weather is brought to you by NR92, the station for the students.
If you're getting tired of being indoors waiting for the snow to melt, you may not need a Florida beach home. Maybe just a new perspective on the season.
On this week's Student Body, Liam Johnson shows you some different activities you can do to enjoy the last days of winter.
First, off to the Edmonton Nordic Ski Club. The first challenge, getting the boot in the ski.
Yeah, go ahead.
Then, time for a little truss fall.
That's amazing. That's really good. Okay.
Or
stand back
so
up.
I thought. Luckily, my knees weren't broken, so we moved on to the next step.
Okay. Hip rotation. Good.
Add some poles, and now we're cruising like Becky Scott. Going from 2 skis to 2 wheels, I decided to head out to Devon to experience some fat biking.
Be prepared to fall off your bike a lot. Is that true?
Especially in the snow, yeah.
Concerning answer. Nonetheless, we decided to move into a little rougher terrain. Folks, let me tell you, it's harder than it looks. The last activity was simply too good to pass up, so my classmate joined in for the fun. Keeping with the 2 theme, we decided to try our hands at segways. A few slalom curves over the bridge, and it was pretty clear we were pros.
That's a look at 3 great activities you can do in Edmonton before the winter is over.
That's right, Liam, and I hope you guys enjoy this great segue to sports.
For NAIT NewsWatch, I'm Liam Johnson.
And I'm Andrea Riera.
Kevin Marr joins us next with a look at sports. The Ooks men's volleyball team was in Camrose this past weekend for the ACAC Provincials.
The men made it all the way to the medal round, and Kevin has all those highlights coming up now.
Thanks, guys. Heading into their ACAC bronze medal match against the Medicine Hat Rattlers, the Ooks were hoping to win their first medal since they won bronze in 2006. With the Ooks and the Rattlers splitting the first 2 sets, we jump to the 3rd set when Paul Meunier hits it off the Ooks blockers for the set win. But the Ooks weren't about to lie down in this game as Ethan Redmond gets the kill to send this game to the 5th and deciding set, much to the delight of the Ooks fans. And with that, the Ooks come from behind to take home the bronze. After the game, Ooks captain Bryce Cardinal talks about ending his collegiate career on top.
It feels like gold right now, to be honest. It's just amazing. I can't wait to celebrate with the team. I couldn't think of a better way to finish the year and finish my last year, and I'm really proud that NAIT can bring something back and put them on the mat now.
Going into the ACAC Women's Basketball Provincials these last few days at NAIT, the Ooks were feeling confident winning the last 2 games in the regular season. Despite the Ooks finishing 2nd in the North Division, the Ooks leading scorer Tori Hale believes the standings will have no bearing on the playoffs as they prepared for their opening match against Olds College.
Coming to playoffs, every team is equal. We're all here to win, and every team wants to win, so it's going to be a fight to the end between both teams.
For Robin Gibson, this is her last season with the Ooks, so she's feeling bittersweet to end her career on home court.
It's exciting, it's sad at the same time, but I'm really excited. I love this team, and we're hosting, which is even better, so it's going to be a great time.
Before the Battle of Alberta renews tomorrow between the Edmonton Rush and the Calgary Roughnecks, the Rush had a hard time containing the Toronto Rock last weekend. With the 2 top teams squaring off, it was a surprisingly high-scoring affair for the 2 teams that are best known for their defense. Despite the Rush coming up short with a 16-15 loss in overtime, the Rush are feeling that they need to keep things simple moving forward.
One step at a time this year. Ultimately, the goal is a Champions Cup at the end, but a long road to get there, so we're looking at next Sunday now.
Edmonton Eskimos quarterback Matt Nichols teamed up with a grade 5 student to raise money for a good cause. Nichols was on hand at Millwoods Christian School to help Arian Morier with his school assignment to raise money for the Stollery Children's Hospital Foundation. The goal was to throw as many footballs into the 2 hoops in 7 minutes.
I did it for the Stollery because our class, as a project, we had to raise money for the Stollery, so I chose football.
The final amount raised for the event is still being counted. The FC Edmonton spring season may not kick off until April 12th at Clark Field, but this past week they invited the local media, including yours truly, to their practice facility for the 3rd annual Media Invitational. Head coach Colin Miller ran a 45-minute training session for the media, putting us through various drills, and we even fit in a short game at the end. Then it was time for the pros to take the field and show how it's really done. Miller is feeling good about the Eddies heading into the season.
Really exciting that our fans this season will see a team that hopefully will commit to getting more chances, scoring more goals. We will always be so well organised, so fit. We've actually developed a culture of that within the league.
Now, if you've ever seen those videos on YouTube of bears on skates, well, it's a lot like how I've been skating my entire life. So I thought, why not get some skating lessons and get this over with? Maybe now I can try out for Disney on Ice, or not.
The first thing to know is the difference between skating on figure skates and hockey skates, which I was wearing.
Figure skates, we ride, when we're going forwards, we ride more on the heel of our blade.
Whereas with hockey skates, you want to skate more on the middle to the front of the blades when skating forwards. You also want to keep your feet hip width apart while bending your knees over your toes.
Well, that's very artistic. Uh-oh, uh-oh, you're in trouble. And then he saved it.
Now it was time to learn how to stop without using the boards.
First step in learning how to stop is to make snow. So you want to do that same position, bending your knees over your toes, and you want to push your foot away and scrape and make snow.
After a number of failed attempts at stopping, I finally nailed it in the end.
That's right.
Learning how to skate backwards was the next task at hand. You want to skate backwards with a seat push, one blade after another, with the pressure being the heaviest on the toe of your blade, then gliding back to the other one.
So, I mean, you're doing great.
You don't have to say I'm doing great. We all know, the TV can see. Not getting distracted on the ice was also a lesson I learned. Disney on Ice, here I come.
So it turns out Disney on Ice isn't hoping to have open auditions.
That's a shame. I think you have real skating potential.
Perhaps we can see an ice show together. Thanks, Kevin.
Coming up after the break, we went down to the Mustard Seed to help sort their donations.
The Mustard Seed relies on donations and volunteers to help Edmontonians in need.
We're always needing the things that most of us take for granted. The things that would make up a good meal or put clothing on our bodies or even provide a pillow or something like that.
I'm Hannah Tita. Tonight on Entertainment, I take you down to Edmonton CollectorCon. This is the event you're looking for.
Outerwear provided by Elite Sports and Innotech Inspection Solutions.
Hair services by Rock Salon and Spa.
The Mustard Seed has been in Edmonton for nearly 3 decades and has been helping people in need ever since.
This week, we had a chance to go to the Mustard Seed to help them sort out all the donations they need. The Mustard Seed Personal Assistance Center helps around 1,000 people in a month and gives out almost 5,000 items that people need.
It's quite difficult in this season to keep warm, and if your clothes get wet at all, it's really important to get something that's dry.
Without the volunteers, the organization would not be able to provide services to the people in need of it.
We need volunteers every day. For instance, for that meal that's served to 300 people, we need about 15 volunteers a night to be involved in the preparation and the service of that meal.
For more information on volunteering or donations, log on to theseed.ca. Tonight in entertainment, we take a look at how science can be turned into a work of art.
We also watch an insane viral video that has received nearly 13 million views. Hannah Tita joins us with all that and more.
MRI scans are being transformed into art at the University of Alberta Fab Gallery.
I was interested in talking about time and restlessness.
Master of Fine Arts student Darian Stahl incorporated MRI scans of her sister, who struggles from multiple sclerosis, in charcoal art to humanize the process of being diagnosed.
She was interested in having her MRI scans rehumanized because of the loss of agency she felt in the doctor's office when she was first diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. So it then became my goal to incorporate the MRI scans in my artwork and talk about living with chronic illness and representing her story.
The exhibit was well received in the medical community, inspiring many patients to share their personal stories with Stahl. The latest Fab installation will be on display until March 12th. Doubling their attendance since last year, the CollectorCon hit Edmonton last weekend. The one-day event takes place 3 times a year and brought together comic fans and collectors alike.
The expos have all the celebrity guests, and all this stuff kind of gets lost at the expo. So this is a way to kind of just bring back the actual collectible side of things for the collectors and make it just like a specific niche event. I mean, that's so encouraging to see like so many younger people getting into the just reading comic books and enjoying them for what they are, because it can, you know, they teach so much.
From Poison Ivy to the Joker to Wolverine, many collectors and comic enthusiasts showed up in full cosplay.
Take me roughly about 3 months to make. Yeah, I have about 25 different variations of Spider-Man, from the cartoons, comics, when we were kids, to the movies and everything.
If you missed out, the next CollectorCon will be held in June. For more information, you can visit their website at toyshow.com. For this week's viral video, we take a look at a solo skydiver, Christopher Jones, who has a seizure and is rescued mid-freefall. Everything seems to be going smoothly for falling at terminal velocity during the first 20 seconds of the video. About halfway through the jump is when things start to get scary. Jones rolls onto his back and begins to violently seize. Skydive master Sheldon McFarland flies into action and catches up with Jones, managing to pull his parachute. Thankfully, Jones regained consciousness at 3,000 feet and was able to land safely. The latest Liam Neeson movie is right on par with others we have seen him in over the past couple of years. From protecting his daughter in Taken to taking down criminals in Walk Amongst Tombstones, Neeson is now tasked with saving his estranged son in Run All Night. Neeson plays Brooklyn mobster and hitman Jimmy, who is tormented by his past. When his son becomes a target, Jimmy is forced to choose between the family he abandoned long ago and the life of crime.
What are you doing here? Both know why I'm here, Michael.
He decides to turn against his longtime friend and boss to seek redemption. His son's family now have to rely on him to keep them safe through the next 24 hours. With a group of professional killers and crooked cops in hot pursuit.
It's gotta end tonight. Tell everyone to get ready. Jimmy's coming.
I have 2 movie passes to give away for the premiere of Run All Night on March 11th. For your chance to win, tweet us at NAIT NewsWatch and use the hashtag RunAllNight. That has been your look at entertainment. Thank you for watching.
The TELUS World of Science paired with Shell Canada to unveil the new Quest elevator. The elevator takes you above and below the Earth to see CO2 emissions. It is an interactive experience that teaches about carbon capture and storage. Grade 5 students from McKernan School got a chance to be the first group to experience the exhibit.
Good for the environment, and we can't get it out. It's stuck in the atmosphere.
Shell is contributing $450,000 to the TELUS World of Science school program and the interactive display.
Well, that's all we have today. Just a reminder to set your clocks forward tomorrow morning for daylight savings time. What did you think of that new Liam Neeson movie?
I think it looks really awesome, like all of his movies. First Liam Neeson movie I've seen is Taken, and it was awesome, and it looks like this one is awesome too.
That's all we have. Thanks again.
Have a good night.